Hello, my name is Lauren Servideo. I am an actress and comedian living in the East Village in New York City.
I'm Emily Nam. We are art people.
Artists, creators, makers, whatever, when they have an idea, it's like they have to get it out, and that's often how it feels. It's like when I have it and it comes to me, it's like I lose all patience. It's like we have to get this out now, or like I won't be able to focus on anything else. And I read recently that like Michael Jackson often operated like that because he believed in this idea bouncing, where like if you don't pursue it, it will bounce to someone else. And he often wanted to just like get these out before they went to Prince.
Lauren Servideo is a funny person and a comedian and actress living in the East Village in New York City. Her main gig is to write, produce, and portray the people amongst us, where she is dressed up as various characters and people that we all know. And while the propensity, it seems, is to give us a laugh, I sense there is also a deep reverence and awareness of the human condition. Personas and the face value identities of people are an interesting concept to explore. Mannerisms, accents, and ways of moving in the world are adopted through our own inherent feelings, society, and culture. What Lauren has effortlessly been able to achieve is transforming her own self into the beings of others, which she shares most often via an Instagram video filmed on the fly with her partner Emerson. Anubis is a ghoulish vampire that enjoys lazing about in swimming pools. Her friends are fleeting, and she is at present wandering the landscapes of New York City. Regulars are Miss Piggy, dog breeder, Greg Finkel, Grandma's boyfriend, Victoria is from Pittsburgh, and then there are the delectable moments and happenings that Lauren discovers along the way, each with a keen display of vulnerability and an ability for stretching our imagination. After graduating with a degree from SUNY Albany for journalism and women's studies, spending her early years in upstate New York making videos with her family, Lauren made her journey to New York City where her path blossomed. Why do we laugh, or why do we need to laugh, is a question pertinent in this current moment of global uncertainty, instability. What is the purpose of humour? Lauren's ability to sit on the edge of humanity and culture, capturing the pulse of the zeitgeist with a fresh and dynamic spirit, is an art. For more clarity, it is best you watch her videos on Instagram. Hi Lauren, thank you for joining me today. I'm really excited to have a conversation with you.
Likewise, truly, thank you for having me on. I am very flattered considering the amount of incredible people you've had on before me.
You're such a unique person in New York that I feel there's this certain stigma of, not a stigma, but like a way of being like a comedian or an actress or an artist. And you've kind of created this own little niche of a world, maybe a modernized way of participating, which feels very refreshing and alive.
Well, thank you.
So I wanted to just start off by asking you about your name. Is Servideo your birth surname?
My government name, it means serve God in Italian. And as far as I can tell, it was misspelled upon the Ellis Island visit because it seems like there's more Servidios, Servidio, which would also make sense given like Dio is the actual spelling of God in Italian.
Mm-hmm.
Which further makes sense. Just somehow it all being hinged on a misspelling under pressure trying to get into America is hilarious as like a provenance. And I feel like definitely just shades like my ancestry or like how we got to me.
What generation came through to America?
This would have been, I think it was the same for both my mom, whose family comes from Sicily, and my dad, whose family comes more from Bari, so in, I think that's southeast Italy. It would have been my grandfather, each side, like the grandfather's parents. So is that third? Excuse my ignorance. Third generation, fourth, maybe something. My great. It would be my great greats. I think my great greats came
Yeah.
in like that classic time. Like I think between 1894. Truly like that the classic Ellis Island between 1894 and maybe like 1914. I'm thinking of like Titanic. Like, it's like
Yeah.
all in there
Like
somewhere.
holding on the back.
Yeah.
Right. Oh,
Wait for me.
yeah, it's quite incredible. The reason I ask about your name is, so many artists change their names. And I remember talking to someone, I was like, it's so cool that you make videos. So you make these funny Instagram videos. And I said, it's so cool that you have video in your name. And someone said, no, that's just made up.
Really? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I do get I never considered it. I don't remember at what point in time the first person asked, like, is that your name? And I was like, of course it is. But then I was like,
Mm.
oh, right, of course. And I think I've like always historically compared it. There's a certain phrase about like these like a name that sort of predetermines there's like a whole Wikipedia page dedicated to it, but like, in the way that like a butler would whose last name would be like Servington, or like a hippie dispensary owner whose name is like Flowerbud or something like that I just think is I kind of can't believe that happened to me. I feel I came in this world.
I sort of think about it a lot. Yeah, it's kind of, I wanted to ask you if you believe in that sort of destiny. I think about it in my own names and other people, that there's some kind of input. Not that you
know
went,
I
oh, this is who I'm going to be, but it's like it's happened and you're like, oh, weird.
Right, was it imprinted onto me, or did I see video over and over and it just was like, right? But it's funny because then
Yeah.
I look at certain parts of my uh like my astrological alignment and whatnot in my chart, and it feels like there's a lot of it that says that I'm going to be the type of person that will always kind of be like fluid in their career. Like I might not always be doing the same thing all the time, which hasn't really happened so far. I mean, I've been consistently making videos, I mean, on an amateur level from the time that I was young. I just have always had a fascination with the camera specifically. And, performing, though I don't really do much live stuff. But I don't know. Then it got to Instagram, and that's just what I've been doing for, I guess, over a decade now.
Mm. So you've been doing videos for a long time. You grew up upstate New
Yeah,
York,
actually,
is that right?
Schenectady, New York, Albany, just that general
Mm-hmm.
area.
And when did you come to New York City? How
I
old were
think that
you?
would have been 2012. I think I had just graduated from SUNY Albany a semester early, and I just was rapidly applying to any kind of like a publishing assistant. I was a little more focused on journalism at the time, just because that was what I got my degree in, or like magazines. And so I just was like fervently applying, and yeah, I think that was February 2013, maybe. So 11 years now.
And I was reading you did a few jobs. So you worked in publishing, you did a makeup session, and
Yep, I entered. I sort of did. It was like, in the way now with the internships, ever since that big lawsuit, it either has to be for money or it has to be for college credit. But I did like a paid internship, I guess probably from a virtual one from 2011 to maybe 2014
mm-hmm.
at a lip gloss company. And they just let me, write their Instagram captions and do their Instagram posts and whatnot.
So you're talking about things being fluid. I wanted to ask you, because I have this theory of when you come to New York, it's like you sign this silent contract of you're at the whim of this being of, I think of sort of, the Statue of Liberty is going to push you through some kind of crazy experience, and that you don't really have control, and it's like if you fight it, you're kind of flawed. And so I wanted to ask you about these experiences of doing all these other things and how they've shaped or been like relevant to what you're doing now, because it feels everything that you have done, like makeup, even just having that character development and building costumes. Like, how relevant was that?
No, it's true. It's funny that now we've sort of like this Ellis Island Statue of Liberty umbrella that we've sort of opened over this conversation. That's very funny. Yeah, I mean it's interesting because I think when I it was this post getting here, I've always had an interest in makeup, and I think at the time I was like, maybe I'll go to the makeup designery, because that was what a friend did, and I like greatly, deeply admired her. And I was like, I think that would be really cool, and I am a very social person. And this seems to fit into. I could just see myself being okay at it, but actually, I have in a certain way, very little attention to detail. So I really wouldn't have been that good on it at a professional level. But then I sort of thought about it deeper, and it's like, I really just like the idea of transforming into someone else. Like, that's kind of my preoccupation with makeup, is like, I can appreciate it on a level of practicality, of covering up a zit, of looking more awake. I mean, is that not though just being someone else? Like, if I'm tired and I put concealer on and I look like someone that's not tired, that's like, to me, in a certain way, timeline hopping. Like, this other you that did get a gorgeous full night of sleep. I mean, is that crazy to
Yeah.
say? I think that's where there's something that does, in fact, even when it is that ordinary, like it's not wild makeup or, entirely transformative, it does. It's like you time travel a little bit. And I always like that with my character work too. And I think that's just really what it comes down to, is seeing how far I can push the boundary of truth with anything. When I do a character, can I get someone to really believe that I'm that person, right? Like, because I see myself as just a vessel. I never look to these characters as like, no, that's just me in a costume. Like, I really do like the idea of fully embodying that. And of course, that can start with makeup. And for me, in my process, often does. And then it kind of settles inside of me. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, no, it does. I definitely want to let's talk about your characters. It's like you're becoming that person, and you have on your Instagram, like, you're fake. You have like a quote, I'm so fake,
Yeah, I fake it so real, I'm beyond fake. Lyrics from a whole song. But it's true. It's like I don't know. That one goes really deep for me. I haven't thought about that in a while. Sometimes I forget that that's in there. I do. I fake it so real. I am beyond fake that it becomes. It becomes the snake eating its own tail. That is so fake that it becomes real. That it becomes fake. That it becomes real. It becomes fake. It becomes real. Over and over and over again.
So when you're starting with a character, how do you like meet them? Or I think about it as well, and I wanted to ask you, and it just depends on how you think about the world, but it's kind of like this channeling, of these lost souls that are
I
kind
like
of
that you see it
wandering
that way.
around. Yeah, and because I don't see it that you've just like put on a makeup and this is my mask and I'm acting on a stage kind of thing. It's like you really embody who the person is, and you even just before mentioned it, like, you're a vessel. And so I wonder if like these people are trying to get in and you kind of meet them and go, no, I don't like that one. Or how do you sort of attach to that first idea of who
Well, I
gets
have
to
to
sit with
say,
you?
I feel very seen and heard right now, because oftentimes there's been this question of like, well, can't you do these live? And that's the part of it that feels very much like just throwing on like a very thin veneer of who these people are, in just this interest of like, okay, we'll cycle between all your characters for like 45 minutes on a stage in front of people. And it's like, that's not how that works. Because they
Yeah.
sort of, I think when I was little and I thought of, when you first get this idea of like, whoa, there was a time before I was born, and I always saw it as like this, like all these different future to be kids, like sitting on a cloud, sort of waiting to be picked, or like put into this
Right.
tube to go down into this family or whatever. And I think I still see my characters as a little extension of that, of like, right, there are people that are already exist that are amalgamations of all these other people, and it's really just a matter of like timing and my own openness to pull them in.
Space, yeah.
Yeah, to that it feels right, because in the past few years it definitely has been more quiet, I would say, on like that absorption front, because I guess it's almost like they get absorbed into me, and then like one day I'll be sitting there and then I'm like, oh, you're there, like here's this new little voice that's in there, this new person that's like, use me. Like, let me use your corporal self
Yeah.
as a place where I can go and be shown to other people, and in that way maybe to some extent I'm a model, but I don't know. That's how it's always gone, I would say. And I'm sure so much of it is subconscious, and how it is in New York. I've always said it's, you go outside and within 5 seconds of being outside, you've passed like at least 30 people, or maybe that's just me because I'm in the East Village, but like there's just no way to not constantly be having to file that back, and then at some point it sort of explodes forward, almost like a bunch of different body parts that all come together in this like franken woman that I just become.
So New York is like, it's so intense. It's a melting pot of these incredible people. Do you take a little notepad around with you, or like, because you are naturally absorbing, or are you only going out? Do you go out on days and go, okay, now I'm looking for people, or how do things land with you?
I've definitely tried that before, the like going out, and I mean sometimes people say things so profound that you do just have to write them down, and I do always carry a planner with me that's like half planner, half notebook, but more often than not I almost prefer it to just kind of like go in, and I might not even realize. I think a lot of people treat their dreams like this, and unfortunately I really don't remember many of my dreams, but I think that somewhere it's rooted in the same like cerebral sleeping process, where like it, instead of getting reprocessed out through a dream, it just gets reprocessed out when I wake up, and I'm like, what if there was a person who, insert adjective.
Mm. Well, I like that. It's kind of, I feel, and maybe you've had it in a few of your Instagram quotes, it's like workshopping, or I wonder how this person would be. And it's not that you've defined a person, it's a way, in a way, you're getting to know them just as much as the audience is getting to know them.
Yeah, that
And
is
you're
really
really
true.
fluid with that space of not, yeah, being a finite performance. I
Yeah,
don't know if
like,
you think about it that way.
no, I do, and again, I so appreciate you like bringing that forward, because sometimes it's like I do think these things, but then I sort of like shove the thought away, because sometimes it
Hmm.
feels too
Hmm.
indulgent to think of like my own practice in that way. But yeah, it is like almost like I'm adopting people, and it is, even though it's like now I have a certain possession over them. I sometimes don't know them. Like I have a character, Anubis, who was probably one of the only ones that came like very fully formed. And it was, but it's in that way still I am getting to know her, and it's sort of testing out how she works in here, or like Victor, how they all kind of work in here. And I do like the idea that we're all getting to know these people at once.
And are there some that you would go deeper with? Like, say, for example, Anubis, who is a vampire from LA or living in LA?
She's actually in New York. I've she's been one that's really, it's been hard to source like where she came from, because it was so long ago. I've always
Mm.
imagined her as some sort of like European high society who had to flock here somehow, but it just hasn't really come to me yet, like where
Hmm.
she almost has that, like when in the Wizard of Oz when Glinda floats down in the bubble. Like she just
Yeah, and
kind
she
of
hasn't sort of
showed up one day. And I kind of like that. It's in her own way, she's like a very, maybe she is LA in that it's very Western. A man comes to town, like a vampire comes to town.
Does Anubis have friends in New York? Or like, does,
She
and
does.
another thing, I'm
She,
going to ask you two questions. Yeah.
please, please. Oh, no, no, no. I can answer that
No,
one first.
answer
So
that. Yeah.
she does have friends. She's very social, but she's very superficial because she's immortal. So she's had to get used to making friends and losing them because they die and she doesn't. And so that's why she is sort of like very flighty, and it's like it never really gets that deep because it's painful. It's
Yeah, making the
it's
connection and then
it's
losing
like,
it.
yeah, it's like in that way, even though she loss is inevitable even if you are mortal. And I just don't think she realizes that. Like you can have more than party friends even if even if you know it's going to end painfully, like you can go deep. It'll be okay. But I get it. It's repeated over and over and over through time for her. So
I also wanted to ask if your characters have met each other, or do any of them exist in the same space?
no, it doesn't feel like it. And sometimes I've thought about like, would there be a way for them to cross over? Because sometimes, I mean, there's only so many types of person that even when they are on the surface so drastically different, there are certain things that tie them together. And not yet, I'd say. I leave the possibility open for any one of them to surprise me, but not yet.
Do you know who Chris Lilley is?
Yes. Yes.
I feel
Rosalie
like Summer
is,
Heights High
oh my God.
and some kind
Jamae,
of
Jonah.
space. Yeah, amazing. Like, do you envision some kind of future of? I know Instagram is sort of such a great platform, but is there some future place
That's so
or
funny you said
goal
that.
or
We worked in between 2020 and actually 2019 to 2021. The process got extended because of the lockdown and whatnot. Um, I was pitching a show that was all my characters, and you always have to give these comps, and it was like, imagine Summer Heights High, but it's New York City, and it's
yeah,
Anubis, and there's a reason
amazing.
Victoria has to be in New York City. She was coming for her goddaughter's communion from Pittsburgh, and like that in itself. And so we were trying to imagine that's exactly how it was pitched. But too risky. I mean, even Chris himself, who is to me just like that's the North Star. What he does is like
Incredible. Yeah.
it's unreal. It's unreal. But yeah, I don't know. American audiences just they didn't really see a place for it. But again, anything can happen. This was years ago at this point.
Yeah, and I think audience is so global now. It's not necessarily I think there's so many different platforms you could distribute it to a different audience,
Yeah, I've always said, I
even though
mean,
you're here.
Instagram is a funny one because it's like it's really great in that way that I'm my own boss, I guess, or like I control the cadence at which things come out. I mean, again, it is like severely unpaid,
Mm.
but I'm not at the whim of some exec that wants to give, notes. And I do have an audience with which it's like very intimate. I've compared it to in the past, like you think of someone, you watch TV. I mean, people watch TV in ways that aren't just an actual television mounted to a wall now, but I just mean like generally they're kind of over here, whereas with the phone, it's like right here, it's in very intimate moments. You're like in bed or on the toilet. That I have a really great relationship with the people who enjoy my work, and I like that. And I don't know, I mean, it would be really fun to be bringing these characters to a larger platform, I guess, whenever
Mm.
the time is right. It just seems like the people who are in control have been like, not yet, or no, or this is not
Mm.
maybe the right idea or place for them. So I have hope. I'm just like
Yeah. It's just finding that right pathway but it's
Yeah.
interesting because I think you really embraced Instagram for its worth in a way and use that to your advantage to, let's say, like develop uh how you wanted to be. And I think having that freedom, if you'd been under the guise of like an executive or something, you couldn't have really been so um experimental with.
Yeah, and I like the experimental element. And in that way, of course, because the TV thing didn't happen and you sort of have to rely on these other ways to be like, well, by doing it on Instagram, like that makes me more of an artist because it is more experimental. But, that's not true. There are artists who make things for TV or make things for, I guess you'd say like a wider, larger audience. And they maintain that just the same. Like they don't lose any of the essence that makes them a true artist by engaging with these mediums.
You've done a little bit of acting. Do you pursue that, or that sort of happened?
I did
I love the video you did of the music video with You Were God, Wasted on You.
Oh, yeah.
That was so fantastic.
That was really fun. That was really fun to do. Damn, that beard was itchy as hell, but it was so worth it. And that was a blast. And yeah, I mean, I went to William Esper Studio for a year I realized at some point where I was like, I'm in some way acting out these characters. Like that would make me like a fine actor, right? Like I'd love to do other people's projects. And then it felt like I kept getting the material of other people's things and it wasn't clicking. Like I wasn't making it come to life the way I make my own things come to life. And so I pursued like a technique and I think it helped, but it definitely is a huge leap from what I'm used to when I write or ideate my own material. And that was sort of comforting. Again, not that I felt like I had any ego about it, but it was in some way funny to be like, oh, damn, like actually not as good at this as I thought. Or like I can't incorporate my more improvisational elements to it. And it wasn't until I studied Meisner, which fully incorporates improv into acting, that I was like, okay, so I'm getting better. And I really would like to be acting. That would be the thing that I would like to do is act full time all the time.
Mm-hmm. Are you doing other things right now?
Not at the moment, unfortunately. It's been pretty slow, honestly. I don't get offered a lot of auditions, and if I do, it's through more word of mouth or they've seen my material. I'm trying to get that to change this year once and for all. It's sort of like I want to get into a now or never type of element, light the fire under my own ass for it. But it is really hard because so much of casting is just, I mean, of course, it's just not up to me whatsoever. I think I have a weird look and style that just sometimes doesn't, for how much I think that I can disappear into the people that I create, I guess, or bring to life, it doesn't really work the same way again in that like outside casting element.
Are you doing the casting run and running to auditions? And like,
I wish.
I only see that on a movie. No.
No, I would. No, that would be, man, it's so funny to hear like some of the old stories. I feel like Naomi Watts has talked a little bit about that, like old, especially in LA where I've never lived, that like driving from audition to audition and the like
lining up with
self-tape
people all next to you.
Yeah, and you're all in a room and you all have blonde hair, short blonde hair, and you're thin and waifish, and like it's like, oh shit, I can't imagine that, because now you just sort of get the lines and you take like 48 hours to learn them and you tape it at home and send it into the ether and try and kiss the rings where you can of people that that are involved in the project and like hope for a callback. My goal, honestly, is to get a role through an audition, through being like, to get the call back and then maybe get another call back. Because that's, like I said, it's only ever been through word of mouth where they already had me in mind. So I kind of just got to go
You
right
want to
into it.
achieve that kind of
I want to
doing the work,
achieve. They said you are the
be
best person for this
recognized.
role.
Yeah,
Yes, and it doesn't
right.
even have to be something that's like the lead. I mean,
Yeah, it
I've
could
always
be a checkout
there are no
sheet.
small parts. Yes, exactly. I can be cashier number one. That's fine by me. I just that's what
Yeah.
I like to do it. So I'll do it in any capacity. And so far, I've done a lot of indie productions, which are always really fun.
Do you do you do improv, and like have you done training for like the comedy thing and that side of things? Have you, I don't know what that looks like, but has that been part of you, like doing stand-up comedy? And
No, and it's funny. I stand up is just like a form. It's so much. Maybe this is where I depart from my own perception of like what I do, because I often get asked that question and I just don't really see the similarity between like the art of setting up a joke and doing stand up as compared to what I do with the video character work. I mean, other than the fact that both I suppose are funny or meant to be humorous on some level. Because yeah, stand up, I can't. It's not that I can't
yeah.
crack it. I just have had no desire to. I don't know.
Yeah. No, well, I asked because I think comedy automatically has this association of being funny, and I feel that you're a little to the side of that, and you are being funny, but there's also this whole other human behavior and observation. And one of my questions was like, are you trying to be funny, or are you trying to comment on something? It just feels, you were talking about transformation, it feels so much different to just being a comedian.
Yeah, that's where
Does that make sense?
no,
Like,
it really does. That's where it's like sometimes I struggle even in the beginning, being like, I'm an actress and comedian. And it's like, I'm kind of an actor and I'm kind of a comedian. Video artist is wrong.
yeah, performance artist, I thought about it.
To be fair, that would probably be the closest thing at the end of the day.
So,
Maybe I might lean into that more.
yeah, like Cindy Sherman kind of vibe of, like
She went to a SUNY school,
dream.
SUNY Buffalo. SUNY Buffalo with
Did
Robert
you?
Longo. What a graduating
Oh,
class. My God. Yeah, absolutely nuts. But yeah, like I think it definitely started out where naturally, I think Anubis and Victoria are just very naturally funny. Victoria's very clumsy. There's like always an accident. Then as time's gone on, it's like not deliberately trying to not be funny, but I make a lot of these with my fiance Emerson, and before we like start the filming session, we like to talk about like what could there be to get out of this, or where would we like to end up when he presses the stop button. And it's like lately it's kind of been like, I don't know, and I kind of don't want to. I don't think this needs to be funny. Like, what if I was just a person on camera? Like, there wasn't an intention to be sad or funny. Sometimes I can't tell if my not wanting to be funny is like a reaction to being like, no, like,
I'm
don't
serious.
just
Like,
laugh
I
at the
want to
yeah,
be,
or like don't
yeah,
just laugh
yeah.
at these people. Sometimes, and it's very well meaning, but people will send me videos of real people and be like, do this. And I'm like, is that what you see this as? Is I just imitate
Mm.
people? Like, I just look at someone and I do this to make fun of them like a parody artist. And again, it's like people are so well meaning. They never send it in a mean way, but it does often feel like maybe a misunderstanding of what this is as an expression for me, because it's
Mm.
like, oh, we don't make fun of people here. I mean, yeah, there can be light jab. I mean, I would be lying if I said there wasn't sometimes like light jabs with Victoria and like her particular upbringing in
Yeah, but
life.
it doesn't feel like you're trying to. I wondered this, if you were trying, yeah, and that's where the comedy kind of comes in. It's not like you're just trying to. There's this Australian saying like taking the piss. Like, you're not trying to
Yes, I love that
like
one. Take the piss
center
out of
them as
someone.
like, yeah.
Yeah, is this like
It's,
either
you're
feel
also
bad?
bringing something. Yeah, yeah.
I really like the playwright and director, screenwriter Kenneth Lonergan. Manchester by the Sea is one of my favorite movies of all time, and he's this other movie, Elizabeth. And he finds really there's this one scene in Manchester by the Sea where a character is on a gurney trying to be raised into an ambulance, and the EMT workers like they keep fucking up the you have to lift the legs kind of lift up so you can put them into the ambulance, and it like won't go, and she's jerking, and it's at I won't get but just like the most devastating moment in anyone's life, and this is happening, and I think it's really I think it's really funny when things like that happen or just are. And if I can manufacture those moments, I like to do that if possible. That's where it's like I know that there is an element where it's like I have a hard time, I'll say, when it comes to script writing, for instance, because like I prefer to have a fully fleshed character, and it's like, okay, let's drop them at the mall, but then like the fire alarm goes off. Like I prefer like I know the character in its entirety, and then I can just send them anywhere rather than set up. I don't know if this is like making I've been trying to work my way through. This has sort of been the dilemma as of late as I try to write things for these characters to do. It's like I don't know. I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent here.
I think that's interesting. No, I wonder if they're created through feeling, and it comes back to this idea of this like spirit coming into your body and finding it's filling out the spaces in this physical form. And I was thinking about this idea of like touching the form of like the person you're meeting, and how much do you let them in, or how much space are they given? And yeah, do you write and have an intellectual idea of this is how the person's going to behave, or how much of your creative process is thinking and feeling and like being? And then it goes back to that idea of workshopping. It's like, who feels right, or how does that person feel, as opposed to who do they need to be, kind of.
Yeah, because it's like, and I don't want to compare it to something as real and drastic as this, but it's almost like if all of a sudden you have to operate with like one eye, right? Like that you've done it. I don't know. It's like we kind of touched on this before, but like when they get in here, it's like I'm not entirely sure how it will affect me, because I am still there is still a Lauren in here, no matter how much I try to like empty myself of that, just to kind of become this like reanimator of sorts. Like you know, this like you might have said it before, was like necromancer almost of like these people. Like I don't know how much of Lauren gets put in there, because I try not to pay attention to it, and maybe I should pay attention to it more now.
How does Lauren come back? or the question was how much of you has grown? Like you moved to New York in your 20s, how much of you has been shaped by these other people that you've had in your life? You know, like if we had our group of friends that we're kind of formed together and go through this period of growth, how much of these people kind of become you? Or, you know.
No, totally. It also feels just so funny sometimes to talk about it with such reverence, and then, you know, whatever Sod is listening to this interview and is like, maybe I'll go check her stuff out. And it's me literally being like, so yeah, I went down to the store. Like, it's so goofy. I'm like, yes, they come into me. And but then it's like so goofy. It really is. It's like one day you wake up and you're like, damn, I really am that person that I read in some like hoity-toity magazine that took their whole thing so seriously. And then it's like the output itself isn't even that serious. But I like that dichotomy. Like, I take it really seriously, but the output is so stupid and silly, and like it's workshopped. It's like so half-baked half the time. Like,
well, I think that's where the comedy comes in, and maybe the ability to laugh at yourself.
Yeah, no,
because
it's
you
true.
are being in that way. You know, you're not sort of, I'm a serious artist, I'm walking around, and you're on stage like doing that. The way you present it is, half baked and a bit scratchy and it's not real. That
Yeah, and then meanwhile I talk about it, I'm treating it like it's like Hamlet or something, and it's literally just like a girl in a ripped t-shirt, or like, you know, a girl who's like working at Brandy Melville and her tops don't fit right. It's like, I guess having that, I mean, it really has, I really just, for how much I had maybe hoped I would move into this kind of practice being my life, right? My that like dream that you have as a little kid of like being a performer. I mean, I don't know. I just didn't expect it. I hoped it would happen, and then it did in a way that has exceeded my expectations so uh, like brilliantly that it's hard not to feel like, damn, like I that I mean, this is a dream. It, of course, again, like a TV or a movie or getting some like crazy ass paycheck would be so wonderful, but like, oh my god, if this isn't already so it. And I try not to get like complacent, but it's just like, how could you not be? This is so like this is so fun and so wonderful, even for all like the little
yeah.
struggles. It's like true champagne problems. I really
Yeah,
do.
and I
I've
think
had,
that's a choice to take it seriously, like um to take your life seriously and be loving it and have so much joy in what you're doing. I don't think there's anything wrong, or you were sort of not saying you're ashamed of being serious, but there's this sort of negative connotation to being serious about what you're doing, but it is like committing to living your life the way you want to live it, and
it's true. Yeah, I
that
do. I
has to
try
be
not.
taken seriously.
Yeah, no, it's true. And I am very confident about generally about the work that I do and the things that I create. But it never hurts in some certain way. I like to have some small recognition, especially where I come from, where it's like very niche. Again, like even performance artist feels like in some way it might be pushing it, but I guess it's very rare in this day and age for anything to be described in its entirety the way it used to. I mean, even saying actress, it's like
Mm,
most of the
mm,
actresses I know that are of my age group did so many other things to just propel themselves forward before it was like acting full time. They were like
mm.
their own social media manager. They also did stand up and improv, like dabbled in all of these different other things before it was like, okay, you are actually going to get paid to memorize a script, become a character, and do it on camera and live in a trailer out in like, I don't know, Austin, Texas for 3 months while we film this movie. That like even then it used to just be when you were an actress. I guess of what I imagine be like Marilyn Monroe's world, Elizabeth Taylor's, like you really were an actress. Maybe
Mm.
after you would become an entrepreneur and like have your white diamonds perfume, but like that's it. Then or you become a philanthropist and have your own charity. The tracks are weird now. They're very different and unclear than they used to be.
I think that's what makes it hard to sort of define or feel validated or kind of meet those career goals that were kind of so defined by you've achieved success. But yeah, it's like there's so much space to be the person you want to be in the way that you need to express yourself, but then it's also non-defined that you kind of go, yeah, I've achieved things, but I also don't know what that means or
Yeah, or it's
who
weird to
I
have,
am. Yeah.
right, there's certain things that you achieve which is like, okay, it's great to have the amount of eyes that I have on my videos at any given time, right? But like in a practical sense, does what else does that mean? Because it doesn't necessarily mean money to pay rent.
Mm, mm,
Or it's like, sometimes people will make their money, but then they don't feel like they have the audience that they want because it's doing someone else's work. I mean, I definitely think the grass is always greener, but I'm trying to water what I have. Like I said, I'm
yeah.
like perfectly content, but I don't want to be complacent because I'm definitely
Right.
not afraid to go forward and try other stuff. I actually just started writing. I started speaking since you brought up the makeup earlier. I during the time that I was doing that internship, I kept my own personal Instagram just on and around makeup and I'm a huge magazine freak, and so a lot of it had to do with like different editorials that just had makeup I liked, and I didn't touch it or update it for like 8 years while I kind of started to pursue my video work more. And then just this last summer, I was like, I think I want to start focusing on makeup again. And I don't know why, and I'm not going to question it. I'm just going to go forward with this feeling. And so I've been running my little account and just getting back into that again. And maybe that does tie into what I was saying about the stars telling me that, you know, I'll go through these weird job changes every few years. Not that I'll ever get away from making videos or like character building, but I don't know why the draw toward the beauty just came so suddenly and seemingly out of nowhere.
How much do you pay attention to your intuition? Like, are you good at going, okay, yep, go with that, or like with a character, or are you rejecting a lot of those things?
No, I try to go. It's hard. It's like I don't want to go with what feels comfortable, but it is. It's like, you know, sometimes again when Emerson and I'll be like going back and forth, like should it go this way? He's very pragmatic and he's a screenwriter, so he goes based off of script. Whereas, of course, when I'm doing this, it's just all off the top of the dome, other than like a light outline of, again, where we'd like to end up or go. And so when he'll float something and I'm like, I can't explain to you why in words, but that's just not the direction we should go in. And you just have to trust me. I wish I had a better, like, we're not doing this because I don't have the words. It's just a feeling. So I do rely on my intuition, but I also understand that that can make it difficult to be the best kind of collaborator because no one on the other side of it wants to hear like, just trust me, okay? It can be really hard, and it doesn't make it feel collaborative. It still feels like it's
your choice.
Yeah, like
about you and your
yeah.
Have you worked on many collaborative projects?
No, only recently with just getting to act in different things, and I really like it. I mean, I really love being directed in that way and told what to do. It's definitely like a relief from me having to tell me, or me having to tell, you know, Kayla, one of my other another character, like, okay, we're going in this direction. So that's a new collaboration, but I love it. I've never done anything except for maybe once or twice with anyone outside of Emerson for, you know, the work I put on the Instagram.
And I think if you've been working together for so long, there's also such a natural, like,
Yeah.
even the way everything's been shot. So I'm assuming Emerson does all the film. It's just like it creates such a unique space, and you're in your home a lot of the time. Like, it's just so vulnerable and real or relatable.
Well, I read, where was it? Was it on like Twitter or something? About how artists, creators, makers, whatever, you know, when they have an idea, it's like they have to get it out. And that's often how it feels. It's like when I have it and it comes to me, it's like I lose all patience. It's like we have to get this out now, or like I won't be able to focus on anything else. And I read recently that like Michael Jackson often operated like that because he believed in this idea bouncing, where like if you don't pursue it, it will bounce to someone else. And he often wanted to just like get these out before they went to Prince. And I get that. I totally
I get that too.
Get that. And I'm like, oh my God, that's right. And so that's where this workshop often comes in, because it's like, yes, on some level, I am trying to adjust to like a certain, you know, like, I don't know, I might be getting to know this character as much as you are. So let's just don't have any expectation for how this is going to go. I don't like glossy. It's like, let's just play around. But I have to get this out. I have to see what this feels like when I do it. And it might not be the right thing. It's like, and in some ways I can't tell if I do that as a protective measure or what. But yeah, like it's like I have to get it out, or I'm like suffocating until then. But I like that. I liked reading that because I was just like, oh my God, that's me.
Yeah, and permission to get it out and not feel that you have to really master it and think highly about, oh, this person has to behave in this way. And you much more, I mean, it's improv in that way.
It is improv, right? It is. And it's like, you know, thinking is the antithesis of acting. I mean, if you incorporate the intellect, at least that's what you learn in the Meisner technique at William Esper. It's just like you can't be thinking, you just do it. You just have to do. If you think about it while you're doing it, it shows on your face. And you can't, Marlon Brando said something about like you can't let it show that you care. I always thought that was interesting. Because it's just like you have to let yourself go.
Yeah, and just creative practice in general, any kind of intellect or forcing, it kind of chokes everything. And it's getting to that place of being in flow of whatever it is, or however that sits for you, and it's totally different for someone else.
Yeah. And so that's where it's like, even the idea of like with a television show, for instance, or something like that, where like it is so much more polished than what I do. And so much of what I do is that there's like this incompletedness because it's just a small blip of life. It's not meant to be perfect or glossy. I like that because, there are plenty of people across all sorts of, it might not just be character building, that make really beautiful works of art that are like highly refined.
Polished.
Yeah, polished, highly polished. And it works. It's just for some reason for me and what I've been doing all this time has been like, no. It's like the exact opposite. I don't want it to be refined at all.
How does makeup play out in your characters?
And my favorite question.
Yeah.
It's like,
and how extreme, or like, even the rat kind of, there's so many great characters that are not kind of overly, again, this polish, but it's just such a sort of, well, it's art, it's an art form in a way. It is art. Like, it's very
yeah, I mean, really, as the makeup art, I mean, for all the people that are actual professionals and get paid, they are artists. And like, that really is where I look at it. And even though I have to acknowledge that when it comes to character building, I do have a very honed in attention to detail, but it's like when it comes to like doing makeup professionally, it's like they're on just a whole other level. But I don't know, it like, I like the idea of just like putting on like a wig or a certain shirt every single time, having the makeup done. Victoria always has this gray, like splotchy gray eyeshadow and just like overlined pink lips, which is based on nothing that I've seen really generally. Although Dog Breeder wears her eye makeup in a certain way that is like very much based on like a certain kind of like Gen X like water black on the waterline and then like heavy mascara down here, and it just, I don't know, like that really does, it just helps me to like sit in it. And I read this thing, who said it about Gina Rowlands, I forget, maybe it was John Cassavetes on Gina Rowlands, but just about how she didn't need anything. She didn't need a wig, she didn't need an accent, she could just get into everything just by like invoking it, almost like in like witchcraft. And I would love to get to that point where somehow this right here, as I am right now, is something totally new. But until then, I just love throwing a wig on. It's just something about it. It just hair, makeup, and the clothes. It's
well, from an audience point of view, and I love that. I think there's something so much more, and it comes back to that Cindy Sherman kind of transforming. It's like you become that person. And I think if you did embody it but were sort of verbalizing it, it's different. I'd probably still think it's you. But I don't look at your videos and think that it's you. I see.
That makes me really happy because that
person
is ideally that is always my end goal. I just want to be erased. And there's something about like, even when people will send me, I get sent all the time photos of random women and like other things, they'll be like, oh my God, it's you. And I like this idea of my face looking like other faces, which is why I do think it's funny on some level with casting stuff. It's like always like, it's to you. I can see it's you because I'm like, no. I think I do blend into the past and the future and like I'm other people.
The wallpaper.
Like, please, yeah, please let me be like like, let me disappear, please. But so I just got thinking about like other women for I so I just started the like I keep a board of inspiration, and I need to definitely like readjust it. But my fascination of the last like few months has been going to the flea market and going to get pictures of women that I don't know that just like
Wow.
exist, and it's like the pictures just call out. It's not about them being the most interesting. Like, this is I just got this past weekend, and there's just something. Who the fuck who is that? Like, who could she be? Who is that person?
Yeah.
That with makeup it's just like I want to be I just have such a like I want to be you so bad. I want to be them. And makeup is like the one way that it feels like it could ever be possible, even though you can never know someone, even when you're like married to them. Like, I don't know who that is. Does she even know who she is? I have no idea. I don't know. Makeup's like a very superficial way of achieving that. It's kind of like it's like a small hit
Mm.
of who this person might be.
What I think is incredible is you're also very gender fluid, and you use makeup in such a subtle way. And yeah, you do have some with like lipstick or like big lips or something like that that's very kind of socially recognizable, but there's other ones that are just so subtle, and yeah, there's a wig and a shirt,
Yeah. There's been a
and
few in the
it's
past where it is true, and it can be anyone. I'll say it definitely tends to not be men, I guess, other than like the Greg Finkel, the rat lobbyist, but they do. Sometimes they're just people, and it's not like it. I mean, of course, it has everything to do with gender. I just mean like it's like not defined. But I had
mm,
a stoner roommate character where it just was sort of like I don't really know if they're a guy or a girl, or maybe they're both or they're neither. It's like hard to really say. But I like giving the audience like it's open to whatever you want it to be. If you look at that and you see it that way, and in that way, maybe that is where I try to make it close to art, right? Where it's like, well, or like a what do you call them, Rorschach test, where you're like, well, I see a rabbit, and then someone else is like, well, I
yeah,
see a
yeah.
butterfly, or like I derive meaning or I don't.
Well, how much of that is you making a choice to create these characters for your own nourishment and need for expression, and just letting them be there in a way? Like, there's this huge amount of vulnerability and humility of posting all of these on Instagram. Like, I could not even comprehend kind of doing that, but it's like you own that space and you give it to the audience, and you can't really control how they're interpreting it or how people will receive it.
It's true. And I do feel really, really lucky that, like, generally the people who get it or it resonates with them, they're very kind. And, like, people that don't either, like, hate it quietly or just aren't, like, loud
Mm-hmm.
and direct about it. And maybe in that way it's clear, like, because I will never do anything not to be like, it's all for me, 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 me. But, like,
Mm.
the minute you start making things for an audience, it just I realized that at a certain point after hearing very specifically, like, I didn't know that I wanted this. And I think that's so important, that, like, it's really special to be able to give people what they didn't know that they wanted, because that really is the spirit of invention, I think. And so if you start giving people what they want, I just think it's really hard to execute that without it feeling like you're pandering.
Mm.
I mean, of course, people would be like, more of, people would be like, bring back this character, bring back that. And, like, that's different. It's like, I think the best thing you can try and do is, yeah, like, always let it be a matter of your expression. Because sometimes it won't always be on your terms, but it can always do something when you make it to heal you or satisfy you or even just make you laugh. Like, sometimes I do this just because it's like, damn, that was really fun and funny to do. And I hope people think it's as funny as I do, but if they don't, like, oh well, like that was for me anyway. So it really is like bringing people along for the ride.
Mm. Is there ever been times where you've made a mistake or you feel like, oh, I mean, you've got so much control over what goes in and out, but has there been a moment of going, oh, that was probably a bit, or who was that person that I just, just feeling that awkwardness of like,
Oh my
that was
god, yeah,
weird.
that's so much a part of like the workshopping of it all is like I say you go through the effort. I mean, a lot of these are pretty medium lift. It's not like putting on an entire show and having to frame every painting and putting all the effort like and then it's like a flop. But there have been characters where it's like they were there and it was good, but it wasn't the relationship that I wanted it to be or the way that they operated within me or the way that even they were fine and that I did it just in a way that wasn't true. I'll be like, okay, or it wasn't the right time. I'm thinking very specifically at this very moment of a character that I did about, it was like a 16-year-old goth girl who lived in Florida and worked at like Joanne Fabrics. And she's kind of like, she talked like this. And like, there's just something about it that like, I didn't, she's great. I just don't know if I was the right person to do that.
Where do you get your accents from? Do you study different accents, and are they American accents or do you go international?
Oh man, I would love. There's I think her username is the underscore dialect underscore coach, but she's someone. Sometimes I look at her videos. I would really love to be coached by her on like I've been trying to think of like the right accent to approach her with to be like, give me a really really hard one or a weird one. Like I've always wanted to do something that was more like Eastern European or even just mastering something like French. Je ne sais quoi. Like I can't ever get it where it's really
like
good.
that little
Right. There's just like a certain, you can just tell something like that.
Yeah.
But they generally, I'll say, and I've said it before, I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. I've never been to Pittsburgh. I don't really know that many people from Pittsburgh at all. The accent legitimately just came to me. But yeah, they tend to be like, there's Brooklyn, which is a lot like an Albany, Schenectady accent. It's like mall, dog, talk. Like, that's not correct. It's like Long Island. It's not crazy. Pittsburgh, I can do like a couple of the different Southern accents because like Texas is going to be different than like Charleston, South Carolina, California. They are pretty American. Sorry, I'm like listing them. They're pretty American. I've tried the Australian accent, but it very quickly goes Kiwi.
Yeah, there's a difference. You did this great it was very early on when I found your work, and it was this Australian group of girls or something. They were at a restaurant.
Rachel.
Anyway, it was so funny. It was so funny because I just thought, I know those people. Like, you just kind of grab like cultural like phenomena in this such well done way. It was just incredible.
That one I will say, of like the very very few that I've done of just like I really am just reenacting. That's one of like 3 probably total that I've ever done that was like, this is not like this is something I literally saw on the train. And I like ran home from the train and my brother or my sister-in-law and Emerson were at the house and I was like, stop what you're doing. I just need to act this out because it's like I need to confirm that was like what I saw. Like I need to rewatch it again. And we're going to all redo it. And we did. And that was hilarious. I'll never forget.
So funny.
So crazy. So crazy. I know. I love the Australian cohort that's in so many different pockets of New York. A very fun people.
It's a funny one. Yeah. How do you like New York is changing so much and it's constantly changing. Do you find there's certain areas you go to and it's just incredible for people watching, or do you just live your life and go about what you're doing and you kind of pick things up? But do you have places that you love to just go and hang out and you see things? Or it doesn't happen like that?
No. It's like sometimes I wouldn't say there's like one special place, because even generally, like, despite this being a very big melting pot, like, you'll get a cert the same type of people. Like, if I go to any one of the parks, like Washington Square Park has all the NYU students, and so it feels like lately what you experience a lot too is that, like, even when people are from a lot of different cultural backgrounds, it's almost like they're generational. I see them as more generational. It's like that presents itself first. Like, they are young. They are clearly people that are between, 17 and 22. It's like hard. I feel like I don't have a particular place to answer your question more succinctly. Because it's like, it's,
And I
if
think
you
the
go
city's
to,
changed because it was different. Yeah, East Village was different.
yeah, it's very, everything
Now it's
shifts.
NYU. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Which never, and then even Williamsburg, like, I guess it's hard because the characters are so random. It's like, it would be hard to just say, like, there was a definitive place. Like it said, it's like just one day they sort of like spawn. And then figuring out for me where they came from is always like an impossible task, because it's like they're from all over. Because I don't travel a bunch. I mean, I'm generally always in New York City or up in Albany and Schenectady with my parents and my sister and my nephew. But
And
yeah,
it
I wish
does
I could
feel like
even.
they're out of towners, like your characters.
They really are. It really, I think about that more and more. Like I was saying, it's just like a man comes to town. But I wrote like the idea of a show. I wonder if I'm allowed to talk about this. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna just like, I think we'll be okay. Just like the idea, the concept of a tulpa? It's like a bit of a
No.
TV trope, but also it's like very much tied to like Eastern philosophies of like, it's almost like an imaginary friend actually come to life, like in the like Wizard of Oz, which is a cornerstone of everything that I do. So much of I the Wizard of Oz is like, it's my favorite movie of all time. I rewatch it like once every 2 months, but like these imaginary friends becoming real people. And so it's like there's a person that's somewhat like me that has these imaginary friends, and they're all up here, and then one day just something so like catastrophic happens that they just like pop out, and then all of a sudden they're real, and it's sort of her responsibility to chase them down.
And maybe teach them how to be in society in this moment in time.
Yeah, because I even think in a practical way, like, well, they don't even have like social security cards. So like, how do you like, where's their money? Like all that, like, it's
where
like,
are they going to live?
Yeah. Where do they live? Right. Are they sleeping out? So, like, how does that, is, one of them is a little more promiscuous and is just going to like bed hop for the foreseeable future? Like, I don't know. But, I think a lot about that, and just the way that it's like for someone like me, I've always been pretty self-assured. Like, I've been pretty consistent in the things that I like, even down to like just the foods I've always liked. They've rarely changed. I've always loved cotton candy. It's like never going anywhere. I never grow out of stuff, strangely, but like it is in some way kind of like, well, dang, who am I? Because I spend so much time trying to be other people. I mean, even not even in the character work. I'm like, how can I become her? That I should spend more time figuring out me, but I kind of just don't really feel like it.
I think though, when you're in relationships with people, that's how we get to know who we are and how we respond and act. So I feel like you're in constant relationship with people and constantly getting to know and
And it's like,
it's interesting to kind of like have that space to then go, well, who am I? But it's like you're so in it that
like I can always go back to it. I know what it is, and that's like, if I see someone on the street, then I'm like, oh my god, I love their shirt. Like, I'll find the shirt and I'll get the shirt and I'll wear it, and it's not me. Like, I'll put it on. It's like a frilly poofy thing. I'm like, more, and I'm just like, okay, like, got it out of the way. And that's been a very constant thing in like the last 5 years, is like again, in terms of wardrobe, or like if they have a purple eyeshadow, I'm like, I have to get that purple eyeshadow and I have to wear it. I have to see what that's like. Even though that would tell me nothing really of this person. But like it does. It really does. And it doesn't make them not deep. It's just like even these dumb top, like it all does matter. It all does come, it's like silly and obvious, but even that, like the monologue that Meryl Streep gives in The Devil Wears Prada about like what is it, cerulean? Some Devil Wears Prada fan
Yeah, the
is gonna be like,
cerulean blue.
yes,
The
that it's like
sweater.
you think that it's just like the color that you pick because you were running late, but it's so much more than that. And I'd love for whoever listens to this, like I'm really wanting to know if there's like a book or like a certain psychologist, like Lacan or Hegel, like any, like someone I should be reading that you're like, oh, this sounds a lot like, because it's very subconscious, which makes me think Freud, but I don't know. What is that? If someone can tell me, diagnose me, it would be really cool to know. It's like I almost just want to step outside of myself and be like, what is the nature of wanting to know people, or not really, just like walk in their shoes on such a level? Like, what is that compulsion to, like, beyond me buying some, even though a lot of what I'm saying at this moment is about like buying the shirt that they have on or like wearing the same color, like what is that compulsion? Like what?
It's like trying to understand humanity. It's like you're on that cloud. You're starting talking about that cloud and coming down in your chute. It's like you came down to go, I want to understand who all these people are, and it's kind of like you're sampling, in a buffet, and you're just tasting that and going, oh no, that's not me, or finding what you connect
Yeah,
to and going, oh, this makes sense, and then you start to build those like familiar feelings. I don't know, but that's sort of what I feel
it's so
is the
buffet.
compulsion.
It's so
Yeah.
buffet. Like I got into a really funny space last summer where it was like it almost went more esoteric. Like like it's like philosopher wardrobe almost, where it's like you wear like the scarf. It's like a loose scarf and it's organic cottons and it's reading like, I'm trying to like it's like a macrobiotic diet. I got really
Hmm.
preoccupied with that type of person last summer, which was very unexpected, but it never turned into like a character. Because there's some that I think, just like I said, I'm even like, whoa, there's another vessel that's more suited, because I just don't think I'm up. Like, I don't think I'm emotionally mature to take this one on. Like, I took it on a very superficial level of like getting like a gauzy flax sack dress. But it is like, what compels someone to, want to wear like this bracelet? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like someone that would wear this type of bracelet. Who's that? A
Or
lot of
like
it's
have,
rooted in
there's so much.
possessions.
Yeah. Yeah. And presenting, well, I think there's this whole like presenting yourself in a way that, oh, this celebrity dresses like that or has this kind of surgery or whatnot, and
Mm,
they kind of want to mimic that person and become that person. But then also there's the avenue of, well, I want to find my own expression, and maybe it's all parts of all these things that I like, but it's coming out in
yeah.
my own way. And so it's like,
Yeah. And maybe it's all rooted in journalism. I mean, maybe you kind of are tapping in just by now of us talking, and like, hell, you talking to Eileen Miles and like Lizzie and like everyone that you've talked to is kind of like, we are kind of rooted in the same thing. Like, what are you? Who are you? Like,
yeah.
how did you get to this point? Like, what draws someone to, what experiences? Like, I don't know if in that way, like, are you like a big biography or autobiography reader?
I used to. I'm more interested in philosophy, and like
Mm-hmm.
part of this conversation is like there's so many interesting people that are not necessarily, that are so unique and they've just crafted their own path, and it's like I want to encourage that. trust in our own journey and not having to be that person over there, because that's not you.
Yeah. No, I like that. And so much,
And so I think that comes down to biography, and like when you, because a lot of this, like, you can talk about all these things and reflect back and go, oh yeah, but when you're in it, it's very different. You kind of just like, whoa, like, what the hell is happening, and which choice do I make, and like trusting that.
yeah, that's where it's like on a philosophical level, it really does make you wonder how much of it is truly predetermined, the idea of these choices, all of
Yeah,
it, like
Servideo, and like how much of that was already like,
to
boom.
bring it all back home. I mean, honestly, right?
Yeah.
Like how much of it is just like if I try you on over here, is that going to change me, or is it going to be like a top that I take on and off? And there's always like this risk in like, or is this top too small and it's going to get stuck on me forever?
Right. Yeah.
Is the metaphoric dye going to rub off onto me and I'll never be able to wash it off my skin? Like there is this fun of being able to try on. It's like risky. And I would say I'm generally pretty risk adverse, but I love doing something that's only for me. It's not quite like having a secret, but it is a little bit. It's like
Your little joy.
there is, and especially with like with the trying on some, like the getting the lipstick, or like the shirt or whatever. Like they don't know that they don't know that I'm doing that. I really am I'm very creepy in that way. And but it's not, it's like the only person that I read, and I'm a huge fan of hers, but was a very late like inductee into it, is like Miranda July gets it. She's someone that like she just like
She gets something that's like,
her ass just gets preoccupied in the same way I do. And it's very rare for, I'd say, a woman to be creepy. I don't mean in like I never saw the show, but like a baby reindeer stalker way. I don't mean it like that. But it's like it's just like this, like, what? And I'll let it go. You know what I mean? Like it's like if push comes to shove, it's like, oh, but like I just get so like I want to wear your skin.
it's like a fetish, but not a fetish.
Yeah, it is.
Way.
It's right. Like there's no sexual element to it, but it's kind of like, how much of you can I become without you noticing? Even if I never see these people again, it's not like it's like someone in my immediate view that I'm suddenly, like single white femaling them. Like, no. It's just like, how much of you can I become?
Is there an idea? I wrote with this idea. It's like if the wind changed and you're like making a face and the wind changed, you get stuck with that face. It was like you'd say to kids, like, stop making that face because the wind might change. And so I thought about what you're doing, and it's like, what if the wind changed and you got trapped? Not necessarily trapped, but it's like you went into Anubis and then something happened, and then
and then
that's where you are. It's like that risk taking, like you're like right on that edge of becoming someone else, but you don't want to lose you. It's not about you want to reject who you are, but like you keep pushing that edge of how far do you go into that person without forgetting.
Yeah, like changing yourself permanently. But it is in the way that the company you keep, that like when your kid starts hanging out with other kids that smoke by the train tracks, it's like you start to prioritize that stuff whether you realize it or not. Like you never, like you always, it's like
you want to be accepted
tale as old as time. Yeah. And it's like on some level, right, you're like, this is in some way the imaginary company that I keep. Wouldn't you want to have like the Issey Miyake wearing small glass philosopher? Like, like, why can't I start incorporating some real like geniuses in there? But I don't know. I really, there's something that I really like about ordinary people.
Yeah.
And I feel like by even saying like ordinary, it's like, of course, that immediately juxtaposes to what, like exceptional people. And it's like, I think everyone can be. I just mean like someone you'd see on the street, because it's really, I think it's very easy to imitate people who are high up here and like do impressions of people who like are very up here, but like, what if it was someone that
I don't want
worked
to
at
say
the
common in a
bank?
derogatory way, but it's
That's
like
what I mean. It's not
common
right,
that's
right, right.
relatable. It's like
Yeah,
you
it's
can
like,
relate to them, you can understand them and go, "Oh yeah, well I'm not above you, I'm with you."
yeah. Um, my friend Walter, I was just getting to know him. We're like new friends, and he's wonderful. And he asked this question. I have the character Ethan's mom, who's like a young single mom, and he was like, "Has anyone ever like accused you or asked if it felt like classist to do?" And I was like, "That's such a thoughtful question," because he's created a character like in the same way, or like has created characters. And I was like, "That's so interesting." Only once, and it was just very easy to talk about because it's like, you know, I don't know, that's that one in particular is based on more of my like upstate surroundings. And again, no one's ever one person. Sometimes these people come and they're random, but then of course I do see, I'm like, oh whoa, that does kind of remind me like of a cousin of mine, or like a girl that I went to school with, and like she just happened to be one of them. And it's like, I'm not this wasn't drafted being like in my rich girl castle of like, aren't dumb single broke moms funny? It's like, no, that's like someone that these are like a bunch of people I know in real life smacked into
Mm.
one woman. But like he asked, because I was like, that's because of course people don't know me, and I don't really want them to. That's sort of like a running joke that I have, I guess, with my audience, which is like, I'll straight up lie. Like, you don't want to know anything about me. Like, don't I'm not, other than talking to you like this, which is really fun. Like, you don't
Yeah.
know. Leave me out of it. Like, focus on them.
Yeah. And maybe that's the casting issue, is they like have created this um persona, and people know you, that they've kind of projected like this is who you are, instead of looking at all your different characters as, and then being able to cast you
Yeah,
in something that's like anonymous, because that's just how the world is,
of course,
particularly
and
on
I would,
social media and Instagram, and it's like, that's Lauren.
yeah,
Like,
and I, of course, it was so nice to, I had a friend be like, no, they like you for you, and I was like, how true can that really be? But again, maybe it's where it's like, it's Adam, I don't know. Maybe
mm.
people hate me for me. Like, I don't know.
I think it's, what I really like is that you're so transparent, and you seem real, even though, and this goes back to this fake thing, you do seem real because you're just you, but you're not being you. Like, you're not being real.
It's like, it seems like such a like jerk offy answer, but like, it's like, how much of how you are you? Oh, what is you?
Yeah.
It's such a like, when I don't know, like high school stoner question, which is where I'm sometimes like, is everyone else like, Jesus, you are such a moron. We all figured this out years ago. I guess that's always my like quiet question to myself. That I guess now is not so quiet because I'm saying it
But
here,
I
but
mean, I don't think I mean, not you, but like, do we
right, like
ever know? And
do
then
you
it's like
ever
you die,
know?
the day before you die, you're like, oh, right, got it. Wish I'd known
Right,
that when I was
right.
10.
I've been thinking, right. It's like, that's again, like I could be this. Like, does this woman even know this woman? Like, I don't know. Like, can anyone ever? You can be married to someone for a whole lifetime, and then you find out they have like a second family. Like, it
Yeah,
happens all the
right.
time, and it's just, I don't know. It's like rejecting. I really do reject this idea of a you, because
It's
even though
always
I was just
changing.
saying like I'm consistent and I like the same things my whole life, like I don't know. The you is always adjusting and changing. Or maybe I just feel that way. Like, maybe there are people like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I'm always with some of those people that you've met them, like it's like they refuse to change who they are, even in the face of people being like, you make me uncomfortable. Like, why can't you just mold? Because I'm a bit of a molder, that I don't really know what it's like to be that type of person that's so like blunt. And
Yeah, and
like, you're
clear
gonna
cut.
get,
This is who I am.
yep,
Yeah.
like you're gonna get me, and I don't care if it makes you uncomfortable. Like, I will cave in a second. Like, I will be who you want me to be, because I don't care. Like, it does. So, but some people, it's like, I think they feel that they're like, I can't lose me, and it's like, oh, I can lose me because I'll always find my way back to me. So I don't get stressed. And I also in general, like, I don't really get stressed when I'm lost in real life either. As in, like, physically, directionally, like, I'm like, I don't know what street I'm on lost. It's like, whatever, I'll figure it out.
That self-assurance, were you like that as a child?
Yeah. Yeah,
Just settled.
it's funny. It's like one of those things where I just, I look at, old picture, like, it's, I mean, of course it's the same me. I just mean, like, same brain all the way through. Except I'd say it's cool because when I was younger, I just really wanted to be an adult. I really wanted to be an adult. And of course it's like I yearn to be a child again, but like it's all the same. Like priorities, nothing has really changed. I'm sure some people would look at that and be like, damn, you're really wasting your one life. But it is also like, why not have it be the same? Because everything else is always so different. I mean, I'm literally always like tapping into other people's headspaces. It's like constantly changing. I like the consistency. I appreciate my own consistency.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
There haven't been like big swings, I guess.
We live in New York and there's a lot of funny women, like over time and now present. Do you have some that you look at and just adore?
Oh my god, so many. I mean, Patty Harrison will always be like my end all, be all. Edie Modica. I mean, the list goes on and on. Iowa Debris, like, holy shit. I mean, Chris Fleming, next fucking level. I can send you, the list is 400 miles long. I mean, it's like, where it's like it just hit me like a meteor, or like when the volcano exploded and all the people in Pompeii died. Like my brain is blank right now because it's just like processing so much. I can give plenty of names. I'm inspired by a lot of different comedians, 1000%, but there's also so many other like artists and authors and writers that I am deeply obsessed with. Definitely an obsessive person. I would definitely consider myself a fangirl. I always have been.
Do you meet them? Like, have you ever met some of them and just been
Oh, definitely. And I'm
a mess?
effusive. Oh yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
effusive. I'm always like, yeah. And my mom's kind of the same way. Like, it's like the minute that I am locked into what you're doing, it's like, good luck fucking letting me go. You would have to truly do something egregious for me to, but I also feel like instinctual, like maybe it is that instinct where it's like, and I'm not, how do I put this without it coming across as like, I guess what I'm saying is just like, I like all, it goes across the board of the sorts of people that I admire and think are hilarious or just interesting in general.
So I've loved speaking to you. I like to ask one question. Last question is, what do you celebrate?
What do I celebrate? Birthdays? No. I really celebrate when people step out of their comfort zone. It is so easy to cocoon yourself. And even if it's a small measure, doing something that scares you or intimidates you is to me a essential part of being human, because I don't know how much like animals go out of their way to like scare themselves intentionally, if that makes sense.
Yeah. That could be its own comedy sketch. Like,
it is a bit, right, it is sort of like it, right, like a little,
you don't see a cat like going to scare itself intentionally.
no, right, like a raccoon going to UCB to do improv 101 in front of a bunch of people, like, or doing public speaking, like a flamingo doing a TED talk. That would never happen. So yeah, that's what I celebrate. I celebrate that.
Yeah, it's really nice. Well, thank you so much for talking with me. I can't wait to watch you on a big screen in a cinema. And
Thank you.
But I love what you do. I think it's it's fascinating what you do. It's so complex, and I think it's been really lovely to speak with you and just understand a bit more about how you're thinking about it.
Well, I appreciate that, and thank you for having me on. And I know I can ramble, so I appreciate your patience in the matter.
Of course. Okay. Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you, Emily. We'll be talking.
Thank you for listening to We Are Art People. You can listen to full episodes on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We are online at www.weareartpeople.com. Sign up to our newsletter for show updates and happenings, and please share with someone who may enjoy listening. See you next time.